A lot of you have started learning UX UI design without even knowing the difference between these two. Now come closer. In this video, I'm going to share and explain what UX and UI design is all about in a layman's language that even your granny can understand it. I'll tell you the individual definitions, the tools they use, and the deliverables as a UX or a UI designer. Which of these two do you think earns more money? Let me know in the comment section. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel Building Amazing Things. Today we're diving into the world of design and we're exploring the difference between UX and UI. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out any of my videos. Let's get started. First thing first, let's break down what UX and UI actually stands for. UX design stands for user experience design. It is more about the overall experience a user gets when they use a product. It involves the user journey, how easy or frustrating this is for the user to use the product, and the emotions that evoke throughout the process. UX designers aim to create a simple and smooth flow with their products. On the other hand, UI design stands for user interface design. It is all about the look and feel of a product, like a website or a mobile app. It has to do with the visual elements like buttons, icons, spacing, colors, and the overall design feel of the product. In UX design, the main focus is the purpose and the functionality of the product, while for UI design, it is about the quality and the visuals of the end product. I guess these definitions are clear enough. Let me know in the comment section. Now let's talk about the job description of the both. A UX designer focuses on understanding people, that is the clients or the customer, their needs and feelings, the challenges they face, and how those challenges can be solved with amazing product. The UI designer brings all of these to life, creating an actual visual representation of the product. So what are the deliverables of a UX designer? One of the deliverables of a UX designer is to empathize with the user. Empathizing with the user means understanding who your users are, your target users. There is a difference between users and target users. Target users are the people who you are targeting to build their application for. So you need to understand these target users. What are their demographics? What are their age? What are their frustrations? What are their gains? What can influence these users? So understanding this user is very, very crucial as one of the deliverables you have to do as a UX designer. Now, the second thing a UX designer needs to do is to define the problem which the user wants to solve. Now, one of the crucial things of a UX designer is to really understand the problem which the user wants to solve. Now, you're not just building an app, you want to really build an app that would solve the problem for the user. If you have understood the user at the first stage, the next thing you need to do is to find out the problem which they are trying to solve and if your application can solve that problem. So you really need to understand the problem as a UX designer. So you're expected as a UX designer to really define the problem which the app can solve for the users. So the next deliverables for the UX designer is to ideate. Ideate means generating ideas for your designs. So you could now do some paper sketchings and just bring out ideas that you think can solve the problem using your application. So it is a very crucial deliverable for a UX designer, which you have to know. You have to know how to sketch. You have to know how to use your paper and pencil to sketch out these ideas in form of wireframes. This is a crucial part of a UX designer. The next deliverables a UX designer needs to know about is prototyping. Prototyping helps you to create a forum for testing. When you prototype these ideas together, different sketches or different screens for your mobile app or your website, you try to prototype them together to actually give you a feel of the operation of the application, how this application will operate. That will now lead you to the next deliverable, which is the testing. The testing stage has to do with getting these users to actually use this application which you have proposed through the prototyping stage. So if this user tends to use this application and that solves that problem, then you now nailed your job as a UX designer because you're actually building that app to solve the user problem. But if you find out the app doesn't solve the problem, don't worry. UX designer is all about ideating. So you go back to your drawing board, make some better sketches and make some better prototype and go back to your testing to see if that really solved the problem. So these are some of the deliverables of a UX designer. So what tools can a UX designer use at this stage? You could see them using more of paper and pencil. You could see them using collaboration tools like Google Meet to kind of interview the users, or you could see them using like paper cards to kind of sort out their ideas, or you could see them use tools like, let's say, Figma to create digital wireframes. So these are some of the tools that a UX designer might engage with while working as a UX designer. So let's talk about the job deliverables of a UI designer. So one of the things that the UI designer will need to do is to understand what the UX designer has proposed. The UX designer has come up with wireframes and prototype. What the UI designer needs to do is to look at those wireframes and prototype and then add flesh to the design. By adding flesh, what I mean is they actually go on to design those designs and make it look like the picture of the actual application, be it a mobile app or a web application. So now, what are some of the deliverables you find a UI designer doing? So you find them working on layouts, how those components of the design will be arranged. You find them building some components like buttons, input box, and the rest of them. You find them playing around with colors. You see them selecting what colors to use and the hierarchy of colors to be used. You find them playing with text, what hierarchy of text will be used. Also, they do interactive prototype. So you see them prototyping from one screen to another, and the interactions that happens when you click on the buttons and the rest of that. So these are some of the deliverables that a UI designer needs to do. So what are the tools for a UI designer? A UI designer will end up using design tools like Figma, Sketch, Adobe XD, and the rest of that. They might go into illustrations and use tools like Adobe Illustrations, or even going into prototyping, more interactive prototyping by using tools like Adobe After Effects. So these are some of the tools you find a UI designer make use of. So to get more understanding, let's look at a popular app called Netflix. It's an online streaming app where people go online to watch video. What did a UI designer do in that app, and what did a UX designer do? So let's just jump into Netflix and then see how we can explain this better. So guys, we are now on Netflix. Let's look at Netflix and understand what the UX designer has done on Netflix and what the UI designer has also done on Netflix. This will help us to better understand the responsibilities or the job descriptions or the functionalities of a UX designer against a UI designer. So now on Netflix, we are on the landing page of Netflix. So the first thing you could see here is the look and feel, how appealing it is. And you could see the arrangement of videos showing you that this is a video app. These are the responsibility of the UI designers to make this very appealing for us to really jump into the application and start using the application. So you could see this background of movies being arranged in a very beautiful way. The layouting for this is done by the UI designer. Also, you could see the color and the dark theme feel where we have a touch of red and most of the layouts are black. The UI designer is responsible for that. So the arrangement of colors where white is being used and where red is being used is being decided by the UI designer. Now let's look at the sizes of the text. So you could see the text we have at some point we have larger text, at some point we have smaller text. So the larger text are used for emphasis, while the smaller texts are not really that important. So the UI designer is responsible for the hierarchy of the typography that is being used on this website. The UI designer also build our components like the button, the input box that we see here. So the UI designers are responsible for that. Also, you could see this animation that happens here. The UI designer is also responsible for this. This can be done with Adobe After Effects or other tools that could do animations. Also, if you scroll down, you could see beautiful images. The UI designer is responsible for using the choice of images in your design. And if you scroll down, you could see an illustration being done on the website. The UI designer also can do illustrations that will be used on the website. So that's generally what a UI designer is focused on this particular Netflix website. They are focused on making this application look very appealing for us, so we'll be able to start using the application. Now let's focus on what the UX designer will do. So the UX designer focus on various functionalities which we will use while using the application. So one of the functionality is sign up. Another could be watch a movie, and several functionalities. The functionality we're going to talk about here to really understand what the UX designer has done here is the sign up functionality, which is also the registration process. Before now, we have applications have tons of forms for us to fill. And this makes it very difficult for us to jump into the application as fast as possible. Like I want to watch a movie as fast as possible, and you're giving me tons of inputs to fill, like my address, my location, my country, and all of that, which is not really necessary for me to start watching video. So what the UX designer has done is to really understand the pain point and then work on this pain point to give us an application that we can use that is very intuitive, very easy to use, very lovely, that we will enjoy using. So you could see the process which the UX designer has taken, which is enter your email address and get started. So also the UX designer is responsible for the copywriting here. We could have a UX copywriter. The get started synchronize that once you click on this button, you're getting started into watching your movies in Netflix. That's a good copy text there. So let's put a random email and let's see what it looks like. So this is a random email I just keyed in. You could see the next stage, which is being taught by the UX designer. So what will be the next step when the user enters the email? That is the job or the functionality of the UX designer. So one of the interesting part that I picked out here is the stages to the completion, or the stages for you to start watching a movie. So you could see that the UX designer outlined 3 stages, which is stage 1 up to stage 3, and you could see the buttons that follows up from this stage. You could see the copy text there which say next. It's been taught out by a UX designer to make the process very easy and very useful for us and very enjoyable for us to do. So these are some of the functionalities of the UX designer. Now you could see some of the functionality of the UI designer, the choice of colors. Yeah, it's using a black color because it's on a white background, and you could see the button very clear for us to see the color of the button red and all of that. So these are some of the responsibilities of the UX and the UI designer when we look at Netflix application. Let me know if this really explained what UX is and what UI is, and if you really understand this difference. Also let me know in the comment section. Do you have any questions? Also let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this is a wonderful video and you enjoyed the video. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. If you're new to this channel, also please subscribe. I make contents around UX UI design, and hit the notification bell so you get notified anytime I create a new video on this channel. So that is it for now. Bye everyone. See you in my next video.